Okay folks, so this here is the Mighty Morphing Power Rangers Reignition Season 2 Megazord. So this is the Thunder Megazord. It was just released here in the UK over the last week or so. And this is an updated version of the original Thunder Megazord, which I have right here. So this is the one that was released back in the 1990s. And actually, you know, in terms of improvements and that, there are a number of things I think the Reignition version does do better. There's a number of design issues that were fixed from the original 90s release, but I have to say there are some things in the 90s version of the Megazord that I think are stronger and better than in the re-release here. So we're going to talk about that. Obviously, in terms of, you know, when you first look at them, you can see they are the same Megazord. They are very similar height as well, but there are some differences that we do need to talk about. So the Reignition version of the Megazord is available to collect. It is going to require 5 different Zords. You can see the packages just there behind me, and they are going to be the Red Dragon Zord, the Lion Zord, the Griffin Zord, the Unicorn Zord, and the Firebird Zord. I'm going to show you how to build this as well, though if you are familiar with the original Thunder Megazord, it's basically the same process. Unfortunately, I do think that the Reignition version is a little bit more fiddly. The helmet on the new version, I don't know, it feels a little chubbier than the original, maybe a tad squashed down. What do you guys think about that? And a lot of the plates here, such as on the legs and on the arms, are now grey rather than the original black design. The main crest is a little smaller and the lion's head has this green paint. Oh, and one minor point, on the original Megazord, the stickers had to be applied, whereas on this version, all the Zords come with their stickers pre-applied. So I'm going to go ahead and unassemble the Megazord, show you the Zords individually, and then we'll get the whole thing built back up again. Okay, so the Megazord has now been separated and we have the 5 individual Thunderzords. And you can see that each comes with their own set of accessories, some of which are used in the main Megazord build. So let's go ahead and start with the Red Dragon Thunderzord, which is very similar to the original 90s version, but a couple of things have changed here. First off, this clicks a little bit better, this underbody section, which actually fixes a bit of a design flaw from the original, because in the original model, this would often become weakened over time and it wouldn't stay, so the whole of the body would fall apart quite regularly. In fact, the whole of the Red Dragon Zord is just a lot more clicky than the original version. You can hear that as I make some movements there. So it does make it a little bit more durable, at least initially. I'm not sure how this is going to last yet, because this is still obviously a new toy. One thing that worked a little better on the original is that in the Reignition version here, the mouth either has to be closed or it has to be fully opened. It can't just sort of like stay half open, so a little bit of a thing there. So let's go ahead, pop the head and the tail off and move the legs into position. Flip this round the back. We'll come back to that in a minute because there is something else about that you need to know. There we go, lock the arms. We can pop the tail on here for the body crest and then open up the head. There we go. Okay, now the only other downside here compared to the original version is this flappy bit. So on the original, this would fold up and connect onto the back. Here it doesn't, so it is just left loose. It's a little bit annoying. You can't hide it underneath either. So it is just there. It can't be folded anywhere. I'm not sure why that's the case, why they designed it like that, but there you go. But that's the Red Dragon Zord now in its warrior mode, so we'll pop that down to one side, take a look at the next Zord, which is the Lion. And as you can see, it does have the Megazord's sword included with this as well. So we'll just pop that off for the moment. And yeah, in the original version of the Megazord, this would be used to store the actual Rangers. But here, it isn't, it's just used to hold the sword in place. And if we just pop the helmet off, which is the tail at the moment, then you can see that we have the arms, which have a little bit more functionality than they did on the original Zord. So now we can turn these side plates and pull the feet in and out as well. So we can do that on the other one too. So let's just pop that in, pop the foot in, and then disconnect the arms and open up the crest plate ready for the transformation. Inside the crest plate, you will have to go ahead and just open these clips here. And we'll just get the arms opened up ready as well. And then next up we have the Firebird. Now the Firebird is actually very similar to the original Firebird. However, it does have these missiles. I cannot remember if the original had these. I mean, if mine did, they were lost a long time ago. And it has these struts here as well, which help it to stand up. And the staff is stored underneath. I guess it's kind of like a third missile launcher of some kind. So let's go ahead and remove this, along with the missiles as well, and the tail. So the tail is going to be used as part of the staff weapon. And that's pretty much all the preparation needed for the Firebird. One thing I will point out is that the individual Power Ranger figures themselves are bundled in with the Firebird box. Next up, we have the yellow Zord, which is the Griffin Thunderzord. And again, very similar to the original, apart from the fact that we obviously have this weapon up front here. And you can actually fire this with a button. Okay, so that's pretty neat. Let's just click that back into place. And yeah, you also have the back plates which can be moved down as well. I believe you can do this for the Megazord transformation. I don't think it's something you do for the actual Zord itself because it would be slightly off balance. We need to pull these grey clips out. They used to be black, but now they're grey. Pop the head in, and then yeah, so this will be the right leg of the Megazord. We then have the Unicorn, which to be honest is quite different from the original 1990s Zord. First off, it has this weapon that just penetrates its neck. To be honest, that kind of looks a little painful. I'm not sure what that's about, but that's what it does. And as you can see, it's just a little bit more of an open design than the original. The original is very similar to the Griffin. But let's go ahead now and just click the foot back into place. There we go. Open up the grey guard and move the head up. And we're ready to go ahead and complete the build. So taking the red Dragon Zord in its warrior mode, we're just going to turn the feet 90 degrees, point them down, and you do just need to open the legs a little bit. And then let's start with the Griffin here. Now, one thing I've noted is that these are a bit of a pain to click into place, and you do really need to push this in to get that click. There we go, so that's in place. It wasn't that intense with the original Zord, or the original Megazord, so you do need to use a bit of force here. Let's go for the second one. There we go, that's clicked in. Next up, we'll have the Firebird, which is complicated a little bit by this flap I showed you that you can't do anything with. Make sure the head is down, and just click that into place on the back there. Just like that. Now the flap is on its beak, it's the only place it can go. And let's just move the arms for the time being, get them out of the way, as we bring the Firebird all the way around. There we go. One thing I do like is that the Firebird, when it is locked in place, it isn't going anywhere. It could be a little loose on the old model. Now we take the Lion breastplate, and this is actually not great, I'll be honest with you, because it doesn't really fit perfectly, in my opinion. No matter how I try and fiddle things about. See, that's on now. But as you can see, the whole thing is just coming out at an angle. If I try and push it down, then we can very easily take the the head off, the red dragon. Looking from the front, it's not too bad. But yeah, from the side, you can definitely see this coming out at an angle. So that's pretty much the best I can get that. We'll go ahead and pop the arms on. Yeah, there we go. Good to just click the helmet on. And now it's just a case of adding in the optional accessories. So we can pop the tail of the Firebird onto the staff, and that can just be pushed into one of the arms or into one of the hands. Thunder Megazord can hold the sword itself. And if we just turn it around, then on the red dragon's back plate, we can actually put those missiles from the Firebird as well. So there's the first one. And there's the second. But there we have it, guys. That is the build itself. And overall, you know, like I say, it's pretty good. I do think there have been some improvements here, but I also think that the original Megazord did some things better than this one. Most notably, it is just a lot less fiddly to assemble than the new one happens to be. So that's a shame, but hey, if you always wanted this Megazord, then now you've got a great chance of picking it up with the Reignition version. But yeah, if you've picked this up for yourself, maybe for the kids or maybe it's a collector's item, then let me know what you think of it and how do you think it compares to the original if you've also got some experience with this one as well. But folks, thank you so much for checking out the review here. Hopefully it's been helpful to you, and I'll see you next time.